Hello, 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 everyone. This is the Digital Asset Universe, and I'm here today to talk a little bit about VeChain and VeChainThor, the difference between the two. And I also want to talk about some of my predictions in 2020 for VET and also a lot of the other altcoins. We're not going to dive into too deep for that, but I just wanted to talk about what my predictions are. I know this year has been kind of on the downside for cryptocurrency, but I actually think that's a good thing because more people are becoming aware in 2019 about what cryptocurrency is. And this is giving a lot of people and a lot of opportunity to actually invest and reap the rewards when they do come. Now, I really want to jump into the difference between VeChain and VeChainThor because a lot of people, or at least a lot of people that I've seen online, don't understand what the difference is and they don't really get it. So I kind of want to break it down to make it easier to understand. And I know there may be some videos out there that you have already watched. So if you're watching this and you already know, what the difference is, then that's fine. You don't have to watch the rest of the video. I am going to be talking a little bit about my predictions at the end, so if you want to fast forward, and I'll probably be on this page when I'm talking about predictions. So if you want to fast forward and go to that, you can. But I wanted to talk about the difference between these two because a lot of people are confused. So we're going to go through this article, which I will leave below in the description, and you can look for it down there and read more into it. And it's from the website thoughtforyourpenny.com. And so we're going to jump right into it, and we're just going to read it, and I'm going to commentate as I read it. And then you can kind of if you have any questions below after I'm done with this video and you still don't understand, just private message me or comment and we can talk more about it. But let's jump right into it. So what are VeChain VET and VeThor VTHO? What is VeChain VET? VeChainThor VET is a blockchain-based platform initially designed for supply chain management and expanding into our other enterprise uses. Its use is digital twins via tokenized assets to track and manage all aspects of warehousing, shipping, ownership transfers, authenticity, verification, and more. VeChain Token VET and VeThor VTHO are the native cryptocurrency tokens used by the VeChainThor ecosystem, aka the VeChain blockchain. Now, VeChain blockchain actually used to be on the Ethereum blockchain, but they ended up pulling away from that and creating their own standard VeChain blockchain, which I think was a really good idea. Now, like it says, I've talked about this in my other video, exactly what VeChain is doing and what they're about, but we obviously know what the market that they're actually trying to hit with their partnership with the Chinese chain Walmart. And they're basically just trying to be the middleman of tracking goods and services with ownership and authenticity verifications with the barcodes. So, basically, for instance, they partnered with Tattoo Wine Company. You can look that up. For some reason, I couldn't find the Tattoo Wine Company website, but if you look up Tattoo Wine, there'll be there's like 3 or 4 YouTube videos on it, but they don't even give you a website to go to. But it's like a company they partnered with, and basically the whole idea is, and obviously they're still testing out the system, but the whole idea is to track the wine. So when someone buys it, they can scan the barcode and it'll tell you exactly where it came from and whether it's authentic or not. Because I guess there's a huge problem, especially in China, and we all know this, where China makes replicas, or companies in China make replicas of big name companies and other things, and then people buy it, but they're not actually buying the authentic goods. They're buying something else. For instance, like there's fake like NFL jerseys and stuff that you can find online. It's the same thing with wines and other stuff. You don't want to be buying some wine bottle that says it's supposed to be $100 wine bottle from Tattoo Wine, but instead it's from somewhere else, and they put some like $15 wine in it. You'll be getting gypped. So this is the whole idea: is it's trying to have like some type of authenticity and help people, get what they're actually paying for. So now we're going to move on a little bit. VeChain's first product, Toolchain, implements leading manufacturing 3.0 technologies like artificial intelligence and machine learning, AI, ML, near field communications, radio frequency identifications, and quick response to create an enterprise grade Internet of Things. Each unique VeChain identity is hashed into smart contract and tokenized for on-network usage. Okay, and we're gonna move to the next thing. Who is VeChainThor? Okay, VeChainThor was created by co-founder CEO Sunny Liu and CFO Jay Zhang. They are joined by partners, COO Kevin Fang, CTO, I'm gonna butcher this, Zhailang Gu, and Chief Scientist Dr. Peter Zhao. They manage a strong development team along with the VeChain Foundation. The foundation secured a partnership with Amazon Web Services. And I know I didn't make a video about that, but I've seen so many videos on it. I was just like, dude, if I make a video about VeChain and their partnership with Amazon Web Services, people are probably going to be like, dude, what the hell are you doing? There's like a million videos already. And I didn't want to jump on the train. So I was like, nah, I won't do it. But I'm pretty sure, I'm pretty sure that there's a ton of videos on what I'm doing right now too. So I guess it doesn't matter, but I try to stay away from what I'm seeing at least. So I didn't do a video on that. But we all know, I guess if you're in the VeChain world, that they have partnered with Amazon Web Services. So if you want to learn more about that, you can look up some articles. And maybe I'll find one and I'll post that below in 2019. So use cases of VeChainThor. Supply chain management is the backbone of the modern industry and is currently undergoing a modern day industrial revolution. Massive companies across the supply chain like Amazon, FedEx, Walmart, and even national governments and illicit organizations are interested. That's a good thing. Tracing seed to sale, farm to table, and exact ownership of everything from raw resources to finished good changes the economic landscape. Old school 20th century collectibles include physical items like comic books, toys, and trading cards. Their value is dependent on scarcity later in life, but when everyone has Beanie Babies and baseball cards and nobody cares. Now, that's kind of true and kind of not true. The reason I say that, this is a good article, and most of what they're saying is basically on point, and that was a good point. But me being a collector myself and a hobbyist, I collect, like baseball cards and football cards, and it's not always the case. Sometimes there's a lot of something. And I wouldn't necessarily say like, I guess it really depends on what kind of terms you're actually talking in and what they're referring to. But sometimes there is like more than enough of something. And I'm not saying like there's billions of it, but there is more than a scarce amount, so it's readily available, but it's still worth a lot of money because of what it is. You know what I mean? Like for instance, like Mickey Mantle rookie cards. There's a good amount of them. I'm not saying there's billions of them, but there's a good amount of them. But if you have one and it's like in really good condition, then it's worth a lot. And that's another thing that comes into play. There can be a lot of something and, it's not really worth anything unless it's in really good condition. So it all really depends on what you're talking about, what hobbies and stuff. And I know this is off track, but it's just the nerd in me. But it all really depends on what you're talking about. And I actually knew someone who collected Beanie Babies, man. When I was a kid, I had a friend, his name was Dylan, and I used to go to his house all the time, and his father collected Beanie Babies. And I remember when I used to go over there and we used to hang out, like we used to go to his room sometimes and just check out his room because like he'd ask, we'd go in there to be like, hey, can we, walk to the store or something? There was a store right on the street. We always had to ask permission or whatever. And we'd go in there and there's just like Beanie Babies all around the wall. Like this guy collected them and he had them in like plastic boxes and cases and everything, trying to keep them in condition. And, Beanie Babies were huge when they first came out. And I know they're not really big right now, but I bet you any money, there's some of them that are worth a lot. I haven't really looked into it, and I actually might, after this video, I actually might dive into Beanie Babies a little bit and see what they're about. But I guarantee you there's some that there's only like 5 of them ever made. And I guarantee you like they're worth like hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not more. It's the same thing with like Pokemon cards and Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Like when I was a kid, I had Pokemon cards and I had first edition Charizards. And when I got into my younger teenage years, I ended up just getting rid of all my Pokemon cards because I was young and stupid and I didn't realize that they would gain in value. And I regret it. But I digress. Let's get back to this. Even furniture, appliances, cars. Okay, we already talked about that. Or nobody cares. Even furniture, appliance, cars, or our homes only maintain a certain value over lifetimes. Yeah. VeChainThor is at the forefront of a new era in which our marketplace will be data driven. The intrinsic value of things may change, and branding, marketing are going to change with it. And that's exactly right. Obviously, the intrinsic value of things change over time. But what they're talking about basically is how we're moving more into the digital age. The internet is still fairly new. I know some of you grew up into the internet, and I talked about that in one of my last videos. Obviously, if you grew into it, it's not really new to you, especially if you're like a 2000 baby or a 1999 baby. I'm a 1990s baby, so when I grew up a little bit without it. You know, it was around, but it wasn't big. And so I had like an era or a time period where like we weren't really using cell phones like we are today. Like I remember the first cell phone that my mom had was a track phone. And you can look them up. Look up track phones. They're hilarious. They're just like a small brick of a phone. It's like a small blue brick phone. And that's what we had. And it had bad signal and it was like a prepaid phone. There was like no services really. You had to use prepaid. It was crazy. But like that was the first phone I remember having and being like, oh, this is cool. You can carry around this thing and like you can just call anyone anytime. That's pretty awesome. And then we moved into Razor phones and now iPhones. So we've come a long way. And the intrinsic value of things obviously have changed over time and they will continue to change. How to mine VET and VTHO. VET has a fixed supply and isn't mined. Remember that. There are some cryptocurrencies that you can mine and there are some that you can't. This is one that you can't. Hodling. I love that term. Does anyone know who created hodling? Who created that term? It sounds like it's new. And sometimes internet adapts new words like that. Like out of nowhere, hodling. Yeah, let's hodl. You know, I never heard that before. Obviously, I've always heard, yeah, hold. But for some reason, in the last few months, I started hearing people say hodl, hodl, hodl. So I don't know if like someone invented that or if that's been around and I'm just finding out about it. But anyway, hodling VET in either the official VeChainThor wallet or an approved third-party wallet generates VTHO as interest. Similar to Neo and Gas. Like Gas, VTHO is used to pay for transactions on VeChainThor ecosystem. Masternodes do earn rewards via a proof of authority consensus. All right, let's talk about it. Let's get into it. So it's what you're hearing is exactly what it means. So when you have a wallet like the VeChainThor wallet, which I actually have pulled up right here, and you can get that on your phone. This is the Apple Store, but also they have it on the the Android store, and really good ratings. I have it. It's a really good wallet. Honestly, it's a really nice wallet. I like how user friendly it is, and it's the layout is nice. So just go ahead and download that if you don't have it already and you don't have any VET or plan on getting VET, or if you have something else, that's fine. But you know, maybe just download it and check it out because it's a really nice wallet. But anyways, so you can use why'd I do that? Okay, so you can use that wallet for obviously storing your VET and your VeChainThor, and it has to be approved, obviously. And if you have those wallets, the one that I just showed you or the other one it talks about, it generates the VTHO as interest. Now, what is VTHO? Well, it says it's similar to Neo and Gas. Well, what is Neo and Gas? Well, Neo was founded in 2014. It's an open source community driven platform for decentralized applications, sitting at a price of about $10.06, which is pretty good. But they actually renamed themselves. So I think at one time they were named something else. And this article goes into it a little bit. I forgot what the name was. What was the name? It was something else. They were called something else at some time. Right here, formerly ANS, Ant Shares. So in 2014, they were formerly called Ant Shares, and then they rebranded, and then they obviously, I think Neo in 2017, June 2017, they rebranded as Neo. And also, it works the same way. So Neo is the platform, and obviously the cryptocurrency you can invest in, and Gas is like exactly what it's like the same relevant as to what VeChainThor is. So Gas is used for the transactions for the transactions between Neo currency. Now that's what VeChainThor is used for. It's used for just like Gas is. So it's used to pay for the transactions on VeChainThor ecosystem. And like it says, you can, if you have VET and it's in the wallet, you gain interest in VTHO. So then you can use the VTHO to pay for the transactions. Do you see how it works now? It's a whole economy, an ecosystem, if you will, that's built into the blockchain. So you gain interest off investing in VET with VTHO, and then you use the VTHO to pay for the transactions. It's like the Gas. It's exactly what it is. And then the masternodes do earn rewards via a proof authority consensus. So if you go to the VeChain wallet, they do have like a node right here, and you can look more into it. If you download the wallet, it gives you all the information. If you have a certain amount of VET, you can get rewards by opting into the reward program for the nodes, and you can check more into that there. Maybe I'll do a video on that too. I don't know. Anyways, let's move on. There's a total supply of 86,712,634,466 VET. I said that perfectly, and that rhymed. And it reached an all-time high value of almost 2 cents on September 4th, 2018, according to CoinMarketCap. Excuse me. There's no cap on VTHO supply. So VTHO is unlimited. You can earn as much as that as possible. Obviously, you can't mine it, but you can. There's no cap on it. And it reached an all-time high of 4 cents, which is crazy. It actually reached a higher than, and that was on August 1st. That was this month. It reached 4 cents. And I think the reason for that is because if everyone is the people who are invested in VET, I guarantee you most of the percentage of them have the VeChainThor wallet or the approved one, the approved third-party wallets. I guarantee you if there are some that do have unapproved wallets, it's not many because people aren't stupid. And if they're going to invest in crypto, they're probably going to get the right wallet. So most of them are making the interest VTHO. And if everyone's making interest on VTHO, that means more people are getting VTHO just by the interest, and the price is just going to go up. I mean, that's how economics works. Even if they're not buying the VTHO, they're gaining interest on the VET that they're invested in. So everyone's automatically just getting VTHO. That's pretty cool. The ecosystem, man, I'm telling you, crypto is the future. All right, learn more about VeChainThor. If you want to learn more about VeChainThor, check out this comprehensive intro guide at My Cryptopedia, which is more reputable than many blockchain cryptocurrency publications, or check out this intro guide, Kukain Shares on Thought for Your Penny. All right, so we pretty much got into it. I hope I explained it well. I did my best to explain it. And like I said, I would break it down as much as I could. So basically, to get to the simplicity of it, VET, the VeChain blockchain, and VET, the cryptocurrency, is what is used on the blockchain in the ecosystem. And VTHO is the gas, which you gain interest from storing VET inside of these approved wallets like the VeChainThor wallet, like I showed you. And by gaining interest of the VTHO, you can use that to pay for the transactions on the ecosystem. Now, I hope that you can understand that enough. If not, just go ahead and comment below or message me and we could talk more about it. So we already checked out what NEO is. And I'll actually post this article below so you can look more into NEO, because I actually just found out about them too just by reading this article. And I've heard about him before, but I never really looked into it until I saw this article and read it. But it's a pretty long article, so if you want to read it, I'll leave that below and you can get into NEO. Like I said, they're already sitting at like $10 right now, so that's probably something I'm not going to invest into, but maybe I will. Who knows? I'll look more into it. But I wanted to talk about predictions also. And so I don't want to be the guy who stirs up YouTube with some fake news or some propaganda or whatever. I don't want to be like putting titles like 100 billion VET in 2020. Like, I'm not going to do that because there's a lot of YouTubers who are doing that, and it's just ridiculous, man. Like, you go on YouTube and you search up VeChain or you search up XRP, and I love XRP, I love VeChain, and I love a lot of these YouTubers, but I don't know. It's almost like they're pushing their own agenda in some way. And I know they're doing it for views, and that's fine. Everyone has to everyone has to get theirs, basically. It's a dog-eat-dog world, and people have to get theirs. But this channel's really about being authentic. It's about being real. It's about making real predictions. And I guess if they really believe those are real predictions, that's fine. If they believe in 2020 VeChain's going to be $300. I mean, hey, man, more power to you. I'm not going to sit here and call you out personally. Like, I'll tell you how I feel about it, but I'm not going to throw names. But I'm not going to do that on my channel. I'm going to tell you my actual predictions of what I think is possible. Now, obviously, I'm not a professional financial advisor, so do your own due diligence, your own research, and dig into it yourself and find out, the history of VET and how to read graphs and stuff like that. I personally don't have the best idea on how to read graphs, but from the research I did, just like on reading articles and like from what other people have said, I gather information from this is what I do when I make a decision or a prediction or an opinion on anything. I always gather as much information from many sources as possible, even sources that I'm not too fond of. I'll listen to them. I'll listen to a YouTuber, I'll read an article, and then I'll just decide, does this make sense? Or I'll compare the articles or compare YouTube videos, and then I'll kind of just break it down. It's like process of elimination, you kind of just break down what makes sense, what doesn't make sense, and then you kind of just come up with your own answer. And that's what I like to do. And so I was looking at this graph earlier, and when VET first hit the market, it looks like it was in 2017. And I noticed this is like the same pattern with most all just most actually not even crypto. If you go to stocks, if you just go to Yahoo Finance, even if you've never gone into stocks, if you've never invested into like regular stocks or anything, just go to Yahoo Finance. It doesn't even matter if you have, if you haven't, just go to Yahoo Finance and look up stocks. And I want you to see this pattern. It's so crazy. Like I don't understand why it's like this, but every single stock that you see, like at least most of them, that gets dropped on the market, that even the penny stocks, it automatically shoots up to like the highest amount possible. It's so weird. Like for that stock, like this one, it came out in November 2017, had a gradual climb, had a gradual climb. What was it? It was like 26 cents when it first came out. It's crazy. So it was like 26 cents, 25 cents, stay stable, 27, went up, 50, 60, 70, 50, stay stable. And then it just shot up to like $3, $4. And then it shot up to $8, like $8.46. And then, it had a slow decline, big drop, another high at 646, another drop to 236. And that would have been the or like right here would have been like the resistance, I'm guessing. Like it would have shot, or this would have been the resistance. It would have shot back up and had resistance right about there. And then it dropped again, and then it came back up. And then you'd figure, it'd have resistance right about here at the around the 350 cents, right? That would be the resistance because look right here. It dropped to like 348, 350, 360, 311. So you're guessing like 330, 320. Like that's where the resistance should have caught. But like it was a big pump and dump when it first came out, just like most altcoins and stocks are. Everyone just like throw money into it and they make a quick buck. It was at 26 cents. Someone freaking threw some dude with some big bags, probably threw like, $1 million into this shit. And it went up all the way to the top. And then he just like took out and made a bunch of money and then dropped it all over time. And that's exactly what happens to most of these stocks and these cryptos. But obviously it's been sitting between 1 cent and a half a cent for a very long time. Not a very long time, I'm not going to exaggerate. It's been sitting there for about a year, but we're at a half a cent right now. And so my predictions are that it's going to, by 2020, and this is just from looking at the graphs. This is just from making my own assessment on the articles that I read, the direction that VeChain is moving, the people who are actually adapting VeChain, like Walmart and Amazon and the wine companies, and it's like it's actual utility value and how it's going to be used. My prediction is that it's going to like come back and meet that resistance level in 2020. And I'm saying by the end of 2020. I'm not going to say $100. I think it's going to be like $3 or more by 2020. That's my actual, just like by looking at the graph and then gathering all the information that I've gathered, I think it's going to be about, 330, 340, 350. And it makes sense to me because like now that we've had the year, the lowest of lows that we've had in a long time with crypto, especially the altcoins, it's time to come back. It's time to shoot back up. It's time to regain that momentum. And I don't know if you notice this, but like I don't really watch a lot of news, but crypto has been in the news a lot more this year than like any other year. It seems like Like people are really talking about it, and you can look up excuse me, you can look up Congress meetings that they're having about the digital currencies that are starting to come about and how we're going to regulate them because it's gonna happen. I mean, I know Bitcoin when it first came out, that was the idea was to move away from banks, but that's just not gonna happen. I'm sorry, like that's just not gonna happen. I mean, maybe in the future, maybe like I don't know, 20, 30, 40, maybe even way longer than that, 50 years from now, maybe that will happen. But right now, I mean, we have banks, they're already in place and they're just too big to fail right now. We have to implement digital currencies first in order for digital currencies to really take over and for things to be almost like it's well I was actually thinking about this when I was taking a shower. Digital currency is like the barter system all over again except online. That's what it is. So there used to be a barter system back in the day, before actual currency. It was like, I'll give you two sheep for your one goat, or I'll give you this bag of cucumbers for that bag of tomatoes. It was a barter system. It was peer to peer. It was like person to person. And then we ended up, getting money from the banks and the Federal Reserve in 1913 got established and all, the rest if you know your history. And currently, right now, actually, I want to do a video on that. So I'm not even going to get into that. But I think when I get 1,000 subscriptions, which I know is going to happen eventually, I want to do a video all on the Federal Reserve and the history of it and exactly what the US dollar is and everything. Like I want to do like a nice edited video with great audio and it's gonna be awesome. Like I'm gonna like take my time on it. I'm actually gonna start working on it when I get really close to 1,000 subscriptions. So when I hit maybe like that 500 mark, which could be months from now, I'll start working on that video and just really finessing it and making it nice. And then when I hit that 1,000 mark, I'll drop it on y'all and you can just check it out. But I want to make a really nice video on what the Federal Reserve is to give you a more bigger perspective or an idea on why cryptocurrency is good for the world globally. I mean, like I said in my other videos, it can actually, we're trillions in debt right now. Globally, we're trillions in debt and we're getting close to a global economic crash. Like, and I'm talking about not just a recession, like a huge Great Depression all over the world, like every economy. And it's only bound to happen because the standard dollar that has been or the currency that has been standard for like the past 40, 50 years has been the US dollar. And the US dollar is not looking good right now. And like I said, we can get into that later on, but it's closer than I think a lot of other people actually think it is. Like I think that the crash is imminent and it's very close. But like I said, my predictions are I'm gonna call it right now. Let's make a standard prediction. Let's make a an exact prediction right here. I think by the end of 2020, and I said 350 earlier, but let's be conservative about it. By the end of 2020, I'm gonna say $3 for VET. That's my prediction. $3 VET by the end of 2020. And that's just, I think it's a conservative. I mean, if you look at these, I mean, we talked about Neo. Look, Neo. Neo's been around a lot longer, but Neo's at $10. And it's almost the same exact system. It's not doing what VET is, and it doesn't even have the same partnerships as VET has. And so, I mean, this is just going off of the information I know. I'm not an expert. And by all means, do not invest in VET because of what I'm saying. Do your own research. But man, uh, it looks like to me that it might meet that resistance level. We might shoot back up. We might have a big spike like this again. I mean, look how much time we've had way down here. I think it's time. I think 2020 is the year for altcoins, and it may even be closer. It may even be by the end of this year. I think the whole backed thing is a little big. I think it's just too hype right now. I think people are freaking out about it, but I don't think it's too much to worry about. We might get some spikes for the news, for the hype news, but I don't think anything is going to actually like be promising or be concrete until next year. And I think that's just because like we're still in the testing stages. I mean, literally VeChain just Uh, they just made partnerships. It's like same thing with XRP and Ripple or whatever. Well, not XRP, but Ripple made partnerships with people to use XRP, with banks and with MoneyGram and stuff like that. I mean, this is all new. So we got to remember that this is still new. It's all fresh, like people are complaining that, oh, why hasn't the price jumped yet? It's like, well, dude, if you go out in your backyard and you plant a seed in the ground, are you expecting the tree to be there tomorrow? Like, that's not how it works, dude. Like, you, and like people on Reddit hate that analogy. They hate that. Like, I'll go in there and I'll try to like talk to people about like exactly what that means. And they're like, "Oh man, don't give me that BS. Don't tell me about the seed in the ground." And it's like, "That's BS. You're just pushing your agenda." I'm like, "What agenda, dude?" Like people, everyone thinks you like have like I was talking earlier about people who have everyone does have their own agenda, but everyone thinks like every single person who's positive about XRP or positive about VeChain, the smaller ones, that for some reason they're just pushing this agenda to cause prices to spike. And that's just, oh my God, that's just ridiculous, dude. Like, do you think that most YouTubers actually think that their influence has the biggest impact on the price? I mean, yeah, obviously, if you get enough subscriptions and you have enough audience, you could make a difference like that. But I doubt that, man. I doubt these guys are just out there being fake and giving false information. I know I'm not one of them, if there are any. I'm giving my honest opinion, and like I said, I'm not, I'm just a guy, I'm just like, I'm just an average person. Well, I wouldn't say I'm average, I'm pretty good at some things. I can make some dope beats and stuff, I can edit video and edit audio, so I wouldn't say I'm average, but when it comes to stuff like this, yeah, call me average. Call me average because you know what? I'm not a professional and I've only been doing this for a short period of time. And I got into this game because I love cryptocurrency and I wanted to pass on information. And I know I'm babbling a little bit, but I wanted this video today to just be a little bit more open and, just a little bit more, I guess, personal. But I'm looking forward to making more videos. I really love that. Oops, sorry, that was my phone. I really love that you guys are commenting and joining in the community. I actually have some like big things ahead for this channel. And I know it's just getting started. And I know that I only have like close to only 50 subscriptions, but I started this channel like a week ago and I already have 50 subscribers. So, I mean, that's pretty awesome. But, and I think I passed 1,000 views on one of my videos already, which is even better. And, I have some plans for this channel. Like we're going to expand. You know how these ecosystems are being created by the crypto community and they're expanding? That's what I'm going to do with this channel. I want to keep creating videos and pushing out information to the people, valuable information as much as possible. And I hope that you really enjoy it. I really do. And if you want to talk to me personal one on one about or debate me or anything, just let me know. Let's make it happen. Uh, like I said, everyone has their own opinion. Excuse me. Everyone has like their own opinion on this speculative market right now because it really is speculative. Like this whole cryptocurrency is still new. 2008, 2009 was when Bitcoin was like really released and started gaining traction. People started understanding what it was. And I mean, that was only 10 years ago. And 10 years seems like a long time to some people, but it's really not, especially for technology. Um, but there's the thing what people don't realize is a lot of these altcoins and these companies that are backing these altcoins, um, they were set into place years ago, like right after Bitcoin came out. And they're just starting now to really gain traction and really like make partnerships in like what we're talking about. And that's why cryptocurrency is becoming the conversation. It's becoming the conversation that everyone's talking about or everyone's having right now. Because all those companies back then in 2009 up to 2013, those companies that were coming out like Ripple, they're all coming forward now and they're all like starting to make moves. They're making chess moves and things are happening. So it's like, we're all speculating and like what altcoins are going to do the best, which ones are going to be burned and washed away. We just really don't know until it happens. And that's the thing. It's like investing in the lottery, except with this, you can gather information and make a bet. You know, you gather as much information as possible and you make a bet on what you think is going to be um, the next best cryptocurrency. Just like the people who bet on Apple, that's exactly what we're doing. We're betting on what the next Apple is because this is a whole new market. Just like the cannabis market, you know, the cannabis market that's going on right now. I lived in Oregon, I've lived in Washington State. I love cannabis. You know, I have PTSD from the military, so I use cannabis regularly. Well, I haven't in a while because I live in a state now where I can't. But um, when I lived over there in that state, you know, I used it regularly, and I actually was a bud tender. I worked in uh, um, a dispensary for a little bit, and it was another retail job. That's all it was, but it was interesting. But what the point is, the cannabis market is booming, and there's a lot of money to be made, and it's a whole new market. You know, obviously, cannabis has been around for a long time, but the market hasn't been around until recently because now we started making it legal, and now we're putting regulations on it, just like we do with alcohol. And so what's happening? Well, it's a whole new market. It gave a bunch of new jobs to people. It brought in a bunch of more money for the states that have legalized it. The same thing is going to happen with crypto, except crypto is attacking the actual financial issues. It's attacking the value of the internet, the value of the world. It's a whole other market, and we're attacking that. And so I could go on for days. You know, we could sit here and talk for hours, man. Like, oh, I could keep going. My mind runs a million times per minute, and that's why sometimes I get stuck because I'm thinking about so many things at once. It's incredible, but that's just me. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, I wanted this one to be a little more personal, and I wanted to go off topic and talk a little bit. But that's my prediction. Let's call it $3 by 2020, by the end of 2020 for VET. What do you guys think? Comment below, give a like, dislike. Everyone, thank you for the subscriptions. I love y'all. Peace. I'm out of here.